Thanks, Brandon. Good morning. Good to see you all. I can think of no better place to be today than here in Las Vegas with Stone Security and each one of you. So appreciate the opportunity to take the next 30 minutes and talk about and give you an update what's going on with Milestone Systems and how does that impact our business with our partners and in particular with Stone Security. What's the value prop for the end customer and what does it mean to each of you who are from Stone Security here in the room or across the country tuning in? How can we take that to market? So with that said, let's jump in. The purpose statement at Milestone, if you know us very well, make the world see. It's all about imaging on our side. And our strategic direction, our ambition is to be the global leader in data-driven video technology software in and beyond security. So what does that mean in practical terms, and what is the update from our side? Well, there's a few things that are changing, and if you've heard anything in the press about Milestone, you might have noticed some changes, in particular two companies that in 2024 have become or are becoming part of the family of Milestone. On the analytics side, BriefCam is moving into Milestone. That was the first announcement here in 2024. So now we have an analytics part of our organization coming under the Milestone brand. And on the VSaaS side, Arcules is coming in to the family as well. And so this adds new dimensions to our business, and it fleshes out our offering from on-premise VMS to include analytics from BriefCam, world-class analytics on that side, and also gets the market clarified on what VSaaS looks like under the Canon brands or the Milestone brand, taking away the confusion of Kite and Arcules and bringing Arcules in-house. Well, this is a bit ambitious, and so we will continue to figure out how to do this through the rest of this year and into 2025, and you will see those brands becoming and those people becoming absorbed inside Milestone. So you stop looking at us as three companies and start seeing us as one organization and one set of products that we can deliver into the marketplace. So if we dig deeper into BriefCam, just a quick overview on what this means, because if you've been working with Milestone in the last several years, you know we have an OEM from BriefCam known as Rapid Review. So what's changing in this landscape of BriefCam becoming a part of the Milestone brand? Well, first of all, a little background. They've been around for 15 years. They have over 2,000 installations around the world. They have a global sales team, a global tech team, and all of those things are coming alongside us now. They support a lot of VMSs in the marketplace. I care about one of those. One particularly matters to me, but they also work with many of the competitive video management solutions out in the marketplace. That will not change. They do have a piece of their business that is, they will be free to use by other video management solutions and pair with that in the marketplace where it makes sense. They have three core products. And so Rapid Review is a subset of the product called Review. So Review is the product that you probably most closely associate with BriefCam. Synopsis Review, being able to ask for the red car going left to right at a particular intersection during a 72-hour period and exclude everything else from the field of view to make the analysis of that environment really quick and easy and efficient. Review has a lot of other capabilities, and it's been growing up over time. And now instead of having the subset of Rapid Review, we have the full portfolio of the product Review. You may have also seen the Drug House video they're pretty famous for in Connecticut with Sergeant O'Hare doing some investigation. This is a product that really plays well in that space. The Respond piece of BriefCam is the live piece. So now if you need live alerts in your environment, Respond is another module that you can have from BriefCam. And finally, Research is the data piece to get the reporting, to have the dashboards, to do the business intelligence, all the things that are relevant in parsing this information in your organization. So that portfolio is coming into Milestone while also remaining available for others in the general marketplace. The sales and tech team in the Americas region is coming alongside Milestone here in 2024 and really getting immersed in our organization in 2025. So if we just take the U.S., we've broken the U.S. into 5 areas, and within those areas, we have 7 to 10 sellers in each of those areas. The BriefCam teams will be sprinkled across the 5 areas in the U.S., and they will come alongside as specialists, both on the sales and on the tech side, to better support our partners like Stone and in customers across the marketplace or the region in this particular area. They will be called specialists, but over time, they will become absorbed within the organization. The point with highlighting what's going on here with BriefCam is there's a lot of features. I don't expect you to read them from this slide. There's a lot of capability. We have analytics alongside our VMS, outside coming out of the box, if you will, with Milestone, while at the same time, we support all the other analytic vendors that are in the marketplace. So Ipsotech, Ricity, fill in the blank of who else matters and can deliver analytics to meet the objectives of the end customer. All of that is still relevant in our business, but BriefCam being part of the organization. Are you with me so far? We good? All right. So second piece of change at Milestone is Archiles. So taking away the ambiguity of who's on first and second between Kite and Archiles, now part of the organization. And just to give you some perspective of why I think this is so important, to understand market fit. If we take Archiles or any other VSaaS solution that you currently see in the marketplace, I think these solutions, where they're at today, play really well in the easy side of the spectrum for VMS. Cloud-delivered VMS, easy to keep updated and patched because it's cloud-delivered, a feature set that is emerging and growing over time, easy to procure, to install, to set up, and to use, easy to span multiple sites. And so the segmentation for VSaaS, I think, fits really well, particularly in contrast to where you would normally position ExpertTech. And ExpertTech can come down the spectrum in mid and mid-low parts of the market, but ExpertTech is designed to really address complexity and do it well. If you need a full-featured enterprise-class VMS with a rich ecosystem of third-party integrations, that is the product to meet the market. And it has been for many, many years. It's over 25 years old. So addressing complexity is in the wheelhouse of ExpertTech, but then having Archiles on the easy side of the spectrum, we really flesh out the portfolio and address 2 parts of the market in, I think, a really, really smart way. I want to dig a little bit deeper on VSaaS because I think there's some confusion in the market about what is available and where does it play. So if we just back up and get outside of security, what's going on in the broader marketplace of infrastructure as a service or software as a service or platform as a service, what we know is the market is going to cloud really, really fast. And there are examples in your day-to-day life that have nothing to do with security that you can use as proof points to know this is true. If we dig in just to the security marketplace, particularly for VMS and for VSaaS, and we do that just for the Americas region, the numbers look more like this. So VMS has been growing for a long time, since the origins of the IP camera, but along comes the invention of VSaaS, or cloud-delivered VMS, creating disruption in which area is going to grow faster through 2027 in this example that we have from Omdia. So Omdia would say that the CAGR for on-premise VMS is 9.7% through 2027, but it's much, much higher, 28.5% for VSaaS through that same period of time. Now, let's say there's a margin of error of some amount here. The point is, VSaaS is definitely growing faster, and of course it is because it's coming from a smaller base. It's also growing because there's an appetite in the market. So if there's an appetite, we should better understand that. And if we also look at the Omdia data, look back at how they reforecasted, or they had said that in 2023, the on-premise VMS space would grow at about 9%. They restated that it was actually 7% in hindsight. So we can guess in 2024 that on-prem is growing about 7% here in the Americas region. And even if the VSaaS part is overstated on this slide, because not all VSaaS companies actually report, so they have to fill in the blanks, it's probably growing at about 3 times faster than on-premise. So if we use that as a baseline, let's look into the details of why. Why does a cloud-delivered VMS matter in the business today? The first part is I think it's important to understand that it's not a destination, it's a tool. It's a tool that our partners like Stone can use to address the dynamic needs of various end customer requirements in the marketplace. It's a tool in the portfolio that lets them balance between easy and complexity. Also, I'm using the terminology around cloud-delivered VMS, which I think is more clear than the generic term of cloud. A lot of people in the market find cloud as a mystery, and there's lots of interpretation. But if you describe cloud-delivered VMS, it's a lot clearer what we're talking about, because in reality, a lot of the recorded video is staying on-prem. So it's accelerating quickly, and there's a lot of things out there in the market. I think this slide helps give us a bit of a talking point of clearing up the confusion. We all know what an on-premise video management solution looks like. And I think we can generally agree on what the staircase to hybrid looks like. In the first example, adding augmented storage in the cloud to maybe do archive or expand the on-premise capability. But then add to this the ability to cloud manage the on-premise VMS, and you have interesting flavors of what hybrid could look like. In our industry, and certainly from Milestone, you heard us say, pre-COVID, this is going to take time, it's a staircase, stay tuned, we'll get there eventually. But we've all realized this through COVID, or on the backside of COVID, the acceleration to cloud solutions, not just in security, but everything that we interact with, has sped up quite a bit. And so what does that look like? We've seen disruption in the marketplace with new players, developing new solutions, and in some cases creating confusion, but in all cases creating opportunity to talk about a different way to address end-user objectives on a day-to-day basis. The first example, this is an Archiles example. Gateway required VSaaS, a box in the middle. And the box in the middle facilitates a few things. The handshake back to the cloud-delivered VMS. We can put storage in that box and store on the edge. And we can also have the freedom to choose the cameras within the organization instead of being locked into a specific manufacturer brand. So freedom, storage at the edge, and the handshake back to a cloud-delivered VMS. There's a lot of value in this. And you see not only Archiles, but some other competitors in the marketplace with this type of configuration that I think is super valuable. If you look at the second version of cloud delivered, it's camera as the gateway, which is kind of my own nomenclature. It means take the gateway away, but does it really disappear? It actually ends up on each of the cameras within the organization. There's a handshake that goes back to a cloud-delivered VMS. And there can be storage, not in a box, but on the camera. So now we get camera to cloud. There are examples in the market where there are some manufacturers who would want you to buy their camera that only works with their system, and that's their value prop, is it's all end-to-end. But if you unsubscribe from that service, then you have a device at the edge that doesn't have value anymore. So instead, if you take the Archiles example again, today you can buy camera to cloud from Archiles with select cameras across the Axis brand of cameras. In the P series, there's 5 or 7 different devices that function as camera to cloud. Archiles is going to expand that with Axis, but also with other manufacturers. So you can mix and match gateway in the middle to support your legacy devices, to support edge storage, but also camera to cloud to move in a direction that gives you freedom with your edge device. You could change your VMS, you can alter the camera. You're not locked in, and you're not held hostage for the subscription. So lots of things to unpack and understand when we talk about cloud-delivered VMS in the middle. Finally, there's this last option, which we talk about from time to time, which is lifting your on-premise VMS to a cloud like AWS using Tiger surveillance that is here at Techtober, a great product that also facilitates augmented storage to the cloud, but also lifting XProtect to the cloud. We have some customers who do this. There's there's an airport in Brazil that has 2,000 cameras and 0 on-prem hardware. They've lifted everything to AWS. The money logic, the tech, and the performance makes sense for them. So that's another option to deploy in your environment. All right, well, some people are moving slowly. They go to hybrid from on-prem. Others are jumping over and headed right to cloud-delivered VMS in their market or in their end-user environment. I think a great example is like K through 12, where we don't have an actively monitored situation. We don't require a lot of third-party integration. We need something that's easy, and maybe manpower is in a shortage. Here's a really good use case for why going straight to a vSaaS or cloud-delivered solution makes sense. All right, another example of how to deploy a cloud-delivered VMS. We are experimenting with Wesco right now. We have a pilot running in the US. We are delivering to the market a series of boxes, 10, 20, and 40 camera boxes that are preset, 1 SKU, 3 years of edge storage, and the storage is configured for roughly to hit the mark on 4K devices. This is an easy product to deploy for an end customer, and out of the box, ready to go, easy to set up, install, and use. We think this should turn into a product that we deploy or make available globally. And so if this pilot proves this out, you'll see us make exactly this product and get it into our SKU set, make it available to all of our customers around the globe. I think this plays really well in an alternative to an on-premise VMS that has a low feature set. This could be another way to address that type of market, or also another way to view a cloud-delivered VMS with edge storage, which when I talk to the competitors that we compete against in the broader market in vSaaS, the feedback that I get polling all of those guys is in some cases 90% of the stored video is staying on-prem. In other cases up to, 65% is staying on-prem. So somewhere in that range, there's only 10 to 35% of the data that's being recorded that's actually being stored in the cloud. So understanding the vSaaS value prop of cloud delivered and easy, but not necessarily cloud store, makes a lot of sense in unpacking this. This is why I see Arcules coming into Milestone as being a really good improvement for us. The last thing about this box is, and you can see the confusion in our branding, it says Kite on one side, Arcules on the other. We'll get that sorted out. That's what we're going through here for the rest of the year. But we didn't actually put Kite on this box. We put Arcules, and we did that for a reason, because you have live chat. So if you're an end customer and you want to ask any questions about the deployment of your Arcules solution, whether it's on the box or somewhere else, you can chat with the Arcules tech team anytime you want to do that. And I'm not familiar with this feature being available from other vSaaS providers, so just a heads up, live chat for the end customer is a real additional value prop in this experience. I've talked about what is changing at Milestone, tried to bring some clarity to the BriefCam and Arcules pieces of our business, but then let's talk about what's also not changing in our business. In fact, let's talk about something that you probably have an interest in around products. And so one of the examples of the evolution of XProtect that you can see in a practical way here at the second half of 2024 is the addition of a product called Remote Manager into our portfolio that's available to all of our end customers who have an active care, active software maintenance on XProtect. So if you've used XProtect Manager before to administer XProtect, you know that is a little bit dated, and it creates some complications because it's rooted in being an on-premise management solution. Remote Manager comes along, and it is the first piece of modernization that you begin to see in the XProtect portfolio, where we're rebuilding Expertech from the ground up, and cloudifying, if you could use that term, the product along the way. So now we have cloud administered management for Expertech. Makes it easy to drop into your sites, easy to do some wholesale changes, a modern UI, and also some system health functionality along the way. There are other great solutions in the market, one being here today at Techtober, which is Boring Labs, that has been doing this functionality for a long time. And we are 100% strong partners with Boring Labs, and they do a lot of other things that Remote Manager doesn't. But here is an example in our own portfolio of how we're delivering some new value with Remote Manager in the product here in the latter half of 2024. Some other things that are coming in 2025, well, we're going to fix the Archiles integration to Expertech and make it work with all flavors of Expertech. That is not currently true today. It only works with corporate, so look for a solve coming soon so that you can have Archiles integration across the full portfolio of Expertech. We're going to harmonize the Husky hardware line. If you interact with BriefCam, Milestone, and Archiles today, the hardware motion is completely different for each brand. And the warranty motion is different. And sometimes the brand of the hardware is different. When we move into 2025, Husky will be available across all three products. It will all be Dell. It'll have the same warranty motion, the same support motion, the same nomenclature, and the same skewing. So we're going to clear that up, make it really easy to understand, easy to procure, easy to have hardware coming alongside the software solutions. If you've heard from our CTO, Rahul, you know we are on a mission to modernize the Expertech product. And so that's a very ambitious task to transform a product that's been around for a very long time. Those modernization elements will come out in slices. Remote Manager is just a teaser to see how that will look in the future. You'll see performance improvements, modernization, and new functionality as a consequence of this initiative that's going on to take Expertech into the future. So stay tuned for that and look for elements that just improve the capability, flesh out the features, and create new things that maybe we haven't considered in the portfolio before. If you buy vSaaS from Archiles today, or if you use that in your organization, you know that it comes with SOC 2 Type 2 certification from the manufacturer. And so the first question is, Milestone doesn't have that. Does that come over to the Milestone side? And the answer is no. That certification stays with the company, doesn't come with the product. And so what are we going to do about that? Well, we've already been preparing. So Milestone is well into the process to become ISO 27001 certified for both Expertech and for Archiles. That is actually a certification that will trump SOC 2 Type 2. And so expect this to land in 2025, and I think that'll be appreciated in our portfolio. And then I did a teaser at the end. I'm not a CTO, and I can't give you all the roadmap. I can just say this. Rahul is on record as being literally with his hair on fire to upgrade, change, modernize Expertech. And he is passionate about showing up at places like ISC West and being able to wave the flag and say, look at this and this and this. So stay tuned. April next year, let's see what we've got. We'll continue to make these incremental upgrades. And I can assure you this, Rahul and his team are passionate about change and about taking us to the next chapter of growth, delivering those solutions to our partner, Stone Security, and to all of the end customers out in the marketplace. So stay tuned for innovation and Expertech. Here's another thing that's not changing at Milestone. And Brent alluded to this in his open. The open platform is part of our core DNA. We believe that innovation is best assimilated into the broader market by a rich community of third-party innovators. I called out two companies. I called out Tiger and Boring already in this presentation. We rely on innovation from third parties to get that innovation to the market the fastest. We do not believe that one manufacturer can be all things to all all deployments, and we know that there are varying needs within every customer. The open platform has always been part of our DNA. It's part of what has made the partnership with Stone Security so solid over the years, and we'll continue to believe 100%, walk the talk of open platform. Even though you see BriefCam coming in on the Arcules side, or excuse me, on the analytics side, you see Arcules coming on the VSAS side, that does not change our DNA, not at all. So let me give you a proof point of why this is valuable. There's a company in Nebraska called Dynamic Workflow Solutions, and they have shown up, knocked on our door, and said, hey, you need some case management, incident management? Do you need the ability to do workflow, evidence sharing, and archive? I think it's a missing part in your portfolio, and they're 100% correct. This is a missing link. And if you think of ExpertTech playing so well in the complex enterprise side of our business, you understand how important a solution like this is. We didn't build it. We've been thinking about building it for 10 years. We just didn't do it because we had other priorities. All of a sudden, a third party shows up and says, I've got this. And we introduced this product from a third party to our sales team in our August mid-year. Since that time, we have over 70 active opportunities that are brewing in the market, because we know that case management, incident management, workflow, evidence sharing, and archive play really well in certain verticals. City surveillance, law enforcement, intelligence, and large venue are just some really key examples of where we've had a gap in our portfolio. Along comes DWS to help solve for this gap, and they do it in a way that is super competitive. When we look at other VMS competitors or other third parties that have a law enforcement video to the cloud solution, you can think of all the different brands that we might be competing with on a regular basis. We have a solve. Not only do we have a solve, but the workflow is better than anything in the market. Workflow means save time. How fast can you get the job done? The cost is better than anything in the market. And oh, by the way, it works with BriefCam out of the box. And while not stated on this slide, it's also in full support of the Lenel S2 OnGuard product out of the box as well. So take a look at this as a solution. If you think, if you're in that vertical as an end customer, if you're selling into that vertical as a person here at Stone, this is a new thing from an outside partner that I think will really land well in the market, and I expect create a lot of opportunities and propel our business in 2025. So stay tuned, and I think this is a great example of why open platform matters. All of a sudden, something drops out of the sky in July, August timeframe, and we already have a huge appetite in the market, and we're able to solve things that we didn't build for ourselves. Another great example, as we sort of begin to transition to, this is a bit of a joint presentation as we kick off the day between Milestone and Lenel S2, but this is another great example of why the open platform matters and why we're not changing our DNA. Just like DWS is a third-party tech partner, so is Lenel S2. And this has been a long-term relationship. We deliver reliable solutions into the market. It's been an excellent partnership because we can come alongside Lenel S2 that delivers a enterprise class, best of breed, on-premise access control product. Whether it's OnGuard or S2 NetBox, we bring alongside the ExpertTech piece to be the also best of breed video management solution that pairs up well with that. We have a tight integration. We have a tight workflow between our companies, and we have value that we add to that equation in the way that we deliver it to market. This is why we've been so successful in our relationship with Stone and created the foundation of how these products can function and play really well in the marketplace and deliver best value to the end customer. We are committed, and you'll hear more of that here very soon, to our partnership with Lenel S2 and the evolution of their business as well. That's a cliffhanger I'm setting up for Steve. There's another value prop in open platform. And I've talked about this a little bit all the way through this presentation. But our partnership with Stone Security that Brent highlighted, awards since 2010, which, by the way, that's when I moved to Portland, Brent, so maybe that's when we really got our legs. But what a great partnership between Stone Security and Milestone for the long term. We have been working together to make sure that we can deliver the best solutions into the market for the end customers supported by Stone Security. They come alongside and provide the highest quality, world-class service to the end customer to create a fantastic experience, both at the point of sale, but through the long-term life cycle of supporting those customers. You saw the growth on the slide, the many branches, the expansion throughout the U.S. and Latin America, and I expect other places soon. We are there to support Stone Security also in this partnership, and we have been scaling our teams to also meet that demand across the region, now bringing in the BriefCam and in the Arculys pieces to go with this. Stone Security is a fantastic example of the power of partnership. I don't just say that for Techtober, for the purposes of being here. I say it because it's absolutely true. And if you find me anywhere else in the industry and you pull me off to the side and ask who are some of your best partners on the planet, Stone will be one of the first names out of my mouth. And there's a reason for that. We've proven our value together and we'll continue. That's our commitment. We'll continue to do that moving forward. So I've talked about some things that are changing. I've dipped my toe in a little bit of what's going on with VSAS. Also talked about some things that are not changing, but providing value that is popping up even this year and will continue to do so throughout the next coming year, 2025. So my question to you is, are you ready? Are we ready to do this together? I think the future looks exciting. I'm looking forward to doing it with each one of you and in partnership with Stone Security. So thank you. I appreciate your time very much. All right, let's move this forward.
2 leaders, 1 vision, no limits. That's the power of Lenel S2 and Milestone. We've come together to deliver a best-in-class access control and video management solution, a solution designed to keep threats out, not keep you locked in. Now, as threats and challenges continue to evolve, you'll have the versatility and flexibility to evolve your approach to physical security without limits. It's about bringing you the power of truly open architecture and industry-leading partner programs, so your options are always open when it comes to new integrations and best-of-breed solutions. And you can take advantage of advanced technologies like cloud and AI integrations as they become available, all without having to move to an entirely new solution. With Lenel S2 and Milestone, you'll get the confidence that comes with working with the best names in the business. The leaders in global access control and video management software, trusted by more than half of Fortune 100 companies. We've worked closely together on a journey to bring our shared vision to life. A vision for seamless access control and video management solutions that empower customers in ways only we can. So don't settle for a partner who stands in the way of your ability to evolve and adapt. Connect with Lenel S2 and Milestone today for 2 leaders, 1 vision, and no limits.
Hey, Tim.
Hey.
What's up? Hi, guys. My name's Steve Partridge. I'm the head of sales for Lenel S2 in North America. The way Brent and the team at Stone, who I'd like to thank for having us, the way this was set up, Tim and I get to share kind of a joint view. Got to see Tim's presentation first, and then I'll proceed from here. But Tim and I had some ideas, and it's kind of a curveball. It was a curveball to Tim, but it is a little bit planted. But I wanted to ask Tim, so the $1 million question, and Tim left you with a bit of a cliffhanger, our new owner, Honeywell. So my question to Tim is, what are your thoughts on Honeywell? What has your experience been, since the merger was announced or acquisition was announced at the beginning of the year and was completed in June? So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, so we are super excited on the Milestone side that Linnell S2 has been acquired by Honeywell, and for the future of this combined set of companies moving forward. We've already met in Atlanta. We had a lot of folks in the room on both sides, the Honeywell side, Linnell and Milestone, planning for the future. So look for some outcomes of those strategic discussions, but really good planning going on between our companies. And in fact, I had the privilege, I guess, of, there was a period of time when Linnell couldn't talk to Honeywell, right, Steve? So they could talk to us during that period of time. And so they reached out proactively and said, please help us understand the details of your partnership. And as soon as we laid it out and explained how we've been working for these many years, they articulated very clearly, okay, we want that. That sounds awesome. So been able to have some conversations before things came together on the Honeywell Linnell S2 side, and certainly after as well.
Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, when we announced it in beginning of the year, June 3rd was the official completion, and so you go into a regulatory period, and so it's kind of a dark time between Honeywell and Linnell S2. So I know Brent and most of the Stone team, our team at Linnell S2, Tim's team at Milestone. It's a scare, right? When you guys all know the ecosystem in our industry. It was a big concern of what we started in 2017 and where's that going to go, right? And if you're Stone Security, you're thinking the same thing, right? We've put our eggs in these baskets and we do these products very well. We install, we live these products. It was a big concern. So when, as Tim said, we weren't allowed to talk, but knowing and just getting feedback that Honeywell had reached out to Milestone and was continuing the conversation, I think put all three companies at ease. And I would expect from an end user standpoint, right, you're thinking the same thing. And that was, a key part of kind of calming the waters and looking to the future and what Honeywell's really going to bring to the table.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of anticipation across our companies, and even at GSX, I had a chat with some Honeywell personnel, and we're talking about where we're going from here, and really fantastic conversations.
Yeah.
But we've been doing business a long time before the Honeywell piece came along, Steve. The partnership between Linnell S2 and Milestone was birthed many years ago. How do you feel it's going so far?
I don't know if fantastic is the right word, but for example, this video you saw was, and the word co, right? You can put co-sales, co-marketing. This was done jointly by our marketing teams. And at the request of people like Stone Security to bring more to the table, step up what you're doing. So we look at it from a product standpoint, a marketing standpoint, sales, innovation, support. Everything needs to be done in co-fashion. And I think from our standpoint, I know as the sales leader, the relationships between the channel business managers and our regional sales managers has been fantastic. We've even, from an architects and engineers, business development, we're kind of one and the same, joined at the hip, if you will. And it's been really a fantastic relationship.
Yeah, I mentioned in my presentation that end users have diverse needs. And certainly we've seen those examples play out in our partnership, where OnGuard is at an end customer deployment and they need something else on the VMS side. We've been able to come alongside and partner really well. Vice versa, where Milestone is playing the VMS role and the customer needs an enterprise class on-premise access control solution. So we have numerous examples of how we have been able to meet the needs of end customers in the marketplace and drive a ton of business actually between our companies. It's been a really good chapter of opportunity growth, but most importantly, meeting the dynamic needs of the end customers. And these are opportunities or solutions that we've delivered into the market that neither company could do ourselves. It required a partnership to deliver that, and we've been able to satisfy the needs of a diverse set of end customers, some that are super notable in the market and others that are smaller, but lots of great solutions have been delivered as a consequence of the partnership we've built here together.
Yeah, it's more to come, more to come. Another question I have for you, how about, we kind of moved into, in 2017, well, actually 2019, this triangle relationship with Stone that, well, I think all of you know as end users what it does for you, but what are your thoughts on the partnership with Stone?
Well, it might be a bit of a broken record. I'm sort of a Stone fan, if you haven't heard that in my language. But I'm a fan because an integrator such as Stone does such a great job of delivering solutions that can be very complex into the market and getting it right out the gate and getting it right over the life cycle of the deployment. And when you look at solutions from LenelS2 and from Milestone, you think about OnGuard as an example or Expertech as an example, it requires a steady hand at the system integrator level to get these solutions to meet all those needs that are out there and nuance the deployment to address the specific needs that range across end customers. And so Stone has done a great job of ensuring success. And if you're a manufacturer, there's nothing better that can happen in your business than to have system integration companies that are delivering results that are positive instead of negative. And at Stone Security, we see positive results in the market with some of the most complex and complicated installations. And so from our side, that's been the value prop for sure.
Yeah. So from the LenelS2 side, Stone Security is one of 5 strategic partners for us. And, we've identified them. I guess, my relationship with Stone goes back to the S2 merger and all the work and high level of technical ability they had with Netbox and how that's transformed to all our products with OnGuard, Elements, even Blue Diamond credentials and readers. So we've dedicated our time to Stone and will continue to do so. We have Chris Meyer here who manages the account. But for us, Stone is very much so a joint partner in the sense the feedback is true, the feedback is direct, it's very open. So whenever we get feedback from Stone, we're under the assumption that it's always going to be unfiltered. So the things that we need to approve upon and the things that they want to see for ultimately you as the end user, that gets translated and gets a little bit more priority in our organization. So.
Yeah, just to draft off that just a bit, I mean, Aaron is a member of our partner advisory board. He's meeting with us every 6 months or so and giving us direct feedback. Of course, we get that across the organization, but having a member of Stone on the advisory board where there is executive leadership in the room for 2 days to hear that feedback firsthand and understand pains, understand successes, and where we need to move the business, that's super vital. So all of those things taken together really help us improve, help us deliver, and get results that matter to the final end customer in the equation.
Yeah. So with that, I'd like to thank Tim for doing this with me, for promoting and talking about LenelS2 products. So I'm going to take that a little bit further in my presentation, but we'll move on.
All right. Thanks a lot.
So I'm going to take you down the $1 million question that I hit Tim with that curveball this morning to get his feedback. Building automation. So in the Honeywell portfolio, we fall under the building automation organization, which is about $7 billion organization within Honeywell corporate. And we fall into the security and access solutions. So you have building management systems, commercial fire, and then what was Access Solutions, which was the entity sold by Carrier to Honeywell, is where Linnell S2 fits, along with Onity and Supra. And then the commercial security organization within Honeywell is where we've bonded together and are looking to the future. So it's kind of funny, when we looked at this slide, it was already in line. We both had prerogatives and goals at the beginning of the year that we needed to accomplish as Linnell S2. And two of these, the mobile and cloud adoption, accelerating that, and key verticals, was on our target, right? We did some changes with verticals, but to see what Honeywell came to us with in June as key imperatives, it fell in line with what we had already set out for ourselves. So additionally, expanding that global footprint, Honeywell as a whole has a pretty substantial global footprint, and that allows us to expand into places like Meta, Asia, and some of the countries in the Far East. But from a standpoint of what they're doing and what they expect us to do, we were aligned pretty well. So the future together, stronger together is one. I would agree with that. We look at the combination of products and the combination of intelligent buildings, physical security, and moving beyond that. But like I said, expanding that global reach with those same products, where they're strong, where we're strong, taking the best of both. So the 2024 focus, right? It's kind of business as usual. As any of you have been through mergers and acquisitions, that's usually the standard line, right? Business as usual for the remainder of the year. Case in point, we're sticking to that, right? We have goals that we both set out to achieve. We're going to continue with that. So in our case, global cloud and mobile adoption was big, right? With our Elements product, mobile readers, mobile credentials. We'll continue with that, but one of the things that's near and dear to me is the customer experience. So that bullet there is we've made investments over the last 2 years, right? I think we all experienced a little bit of hiccup with supply chain and things like that. Dare I say that in this room? But we all had pains with that. So that in tune created some awareness for us on a customer experience level that not only do you need the products to deliver them, but how do you communicate and how do you respond when things like that happen? So we've doubled down in the customer experience, and from my perspective, if we can't make that better in our interactions on a day-to-day basis with Stone Security, right, nothing's going to move forward of all the ideas and goals we have. So we need to work that customer experience. Today, I think we have one of the best with Stone. But we also need to carry that down to the end user, right? Because our end users work with us and have direct support and things like that. And Stone very much wants us to work with you, the end user, and spend time and deliver those messages because, right, it's the power of multiples, right? When the Stone folks are talking to the end user, when we're talking to you, it's double the power, and the messages get delivered. New products, opportunities are pronounced better. So transformation, as I said, business as usual, and we're focused on business integration. So that's from all aspects. Products, a couple $1 million questions there on products. Things like OnGuard, NetBox, Elements, continuing forward, right? But also from a people integration. There's news that was announced. I don't know if anyone caught it. I think one of the LinkedIn companies may have announced it. But as two organizations, we were led by Jeff Stanek. And on the commercial side, a guy by the name of Sergio Costalejos. And then Bilal Hamoud is our CEO of Building Automation. Well, just recently, Jeff Stanek was named president and GM of the combined security, which is called Security and Access Solutions. So it used to be Commercial Security, and we were Access Solutions. So Jeff Stanek is now the president of that organization. So that tells you a lot about Honeywell, and kind of, we didn't just acquire you to tell you what to do, we acquired for you to tell us what to do, and work with us and combine our teams and take the best of both worlds. So from that standpoint, if you don't know Jeff, Jeff started as the CFO for Linnell Systems International 14 years ago. He spent about 4 years doing that. He moved into sales for a period and led the sales team, and then became president and general manager of Linnell at the time. So he led the S2 acquisition and was very instrumental in that. And some of the things we've gained from that are companies like Stone Security, right? Couldn't be better. And what I'll leave that there. But what we've learned from that is that we acquired a great product and a great company, and we made that work. We learned our lessons. Jeff learned his lessons from GE Security, and what went well, what didn't, and capitalized on that. And we're taking that same approach, and Honeywell has leaned on us and is taking that same approach to merging the two companies and bringing what's best for you as an end user, and not focusing on us, but you, the customer. So I'll jump into a little bit more in depth of what the Linnell S2 product set and Milestone bring to the table. Probably many of you know already, but there's some things I want to highlight, and I'll talk about some product changes from the Linnell S2 products. So proven leaders, right? Both leaders in access control and video. As separate companies, we were leaders, right? The software space of access control and video are not that old. If you think about it, maybe 30 years in access, 20 years in video. We've been in it, both of us, for that period of time. That's kind of where the 50 comes from. And then if you think about trusted by more than half of the Fortune 100 companies. I used to think, and I still think this, and we kind of whittled it down. I used to look at, that claim that companies make. And I always thought, well, if we sell a camera or a reader to a gas station, we can claim like a Fortune 10 gas and oil company as one of our customers. But that's hollow, right? I think it has to have some teeth. So we've been really conscious about that. And to give you an example, trusted by more than half, we'll take Las Vegas as a kind of a microcosm. And he's sitting here, probably didn't think he was going to get called on, but Kevin Demeny here, he and I used to be the CBM and RSM for Vegas back in 2017, 2018. And we sat down, got to know each other. And one of the things we did is kind of build a spreadsheet of the companies, the entities within Vegas that had either, at the time, it was On Guard or Milestone or X-Protect, and kind of line that out. And what we found, right, we found that almost everything in government and infrastructure had one or the other, if not both, right? Some of the major, well, actually, I guess probably all of the major hospitals. And we looked at that, and it was kind of incredible that, wow, why didn't we do this before? And today, right, here we are, 7 years later, John Bohr and Dan Vioto have continued that, right, and kind of strengthened that. And we've brought that power of what Linnell and now Linnell S2 and Milestone could do for one customer. And with the help of now Stone Security building this wonderful center, right, we have that field frontline expertise to deliver it to another level. So that's just an idea of some of the proven leaders that the three of us can bring in a microcosm like Vegas, and then take that nationally and globally. So from an alignment standpoint, here's the evidence that Tim spoke about. In that picture is Jeff Stanek and Thomas Jensen, who's the CEO of Milestone. That picture was taken in Atlanta at the Honeywell Building Automation Office in about the March timeframe. where, again, or actually, yeah, it was about the March timeframe. I believe there were probably,
It was
it was August? Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, there would have had to have been lawyers in the room for it to be March. But that was recent. So they came together, Bilal was in the room, and we were able to kind of get that leadership buy-in and commitment together. And then from an R&D standpoint, about a year and a half ago, we actually held a team meeting here with the engineers on both sides, product leaders on both sides, sales leadership, hosted by Andy and Brent, to kind of take things forward and have an input, voice of customer, voice of sales, whatever you want to call it. We had that here. So we continue that. And again, I go back to co-development, co-engineering. We're lockstep. A lot of people talk about, whether it's tough to have an open system and not in some flavor deal with version creep, right? When one partner goes to another version, getting that certified and squared away. We do a very good job. Linnell S2 has always done a very good job with the OAP program. Same thing with Milestone. Very conscious of it. When you put us together, even better. And you bring in a partner like Stone with the feedback and some of the things that they've done at the netbox level, that kind of brings that whole picture into view. From a sales standpoint, we talked about it. Single point of purchase, right? Everything that the two of us provide can be provided and is provided directly from Stone. And then single point of support, which is key. Stone does all of it. There aren't very, very many times that both our tech support get a call from a Stone technician, but that's the beauty of it. That's the value add that we're looking for. So single point of support, single point of purchase. And then from a services standpoint with Linnell S2, it's always been fundamental and a key value in our value prop as a manufacturer, which is our professional services group, custom solutions, right? Custom solutions does a lot of things that ultimately wind up in our partner program, right? They come in as one-offs or a new product out there in the market, right? Technology today moves fast. Custom solutions is usually the one that gets their hand on it first and is able to, at your request, it's always an end user that comes to us, can you integrate this and how can you do it? So custom solutions comes in on that standpoint. And then training, right? We offer manufacturer training. Stone does their monthly trainings, but it's that kind of shared approach of providing training to you, the end user, almost ad nauseum, right? So that when there's turnover, you're able to get people up to speed quickly, whether that's through us or through Stone. And then software support and care. Again, trying to simplify that and allow you to deal with one support contract, right? Comes from Stone. We try to make it just as easy on Stone when it's coming from us in Milestone. So from a licensing standpoint, we set out to do this in the beginning, and it took a little bit of time. It took a couple years. But as I said, single point of purchase, that would be Stone Security. But base server license, device licenses, and then viewing clients, right? That's all purchased and operated through Stone. And then from a standpoint of the viewing clients, as you'll see in some of the next slides, and then ultimately Adam will be up here with a live demo, the OnGuard and NetBox clients work across the integrated solution. So pick your flavor, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But a single point of support, right? So in the Linnell S2 technical support group, we provide level 1 support on both Linnell and Milestone. Obviously, we should provide at least level 1 on Linnell S2, but if you get what I'm saying, we can provide level 1 support on Milestone. So if you, as an end user, are calling in with direct support, we can help you there. At least identify that do you need to go direct to Milestone for level 2 or something better. But most times we work directly with Stone. If Stone's calling in, it does get to probably level 3. So we're able to work that through. So operator visibility. if you look at a mix and match approach, everybody has different flavors, but the beauty of XProtect and our products is it's ultimately the end user's choice. So whether you want to look at everything through the XProtect client, XProtect Mobile, or from an OnGuard standpoint, alarm monitoring, which is the legacy thick client, and then our thin client and browser client, which is OnGuard Monitor. Conversely, if you want to look at it through Netbox, you can do that. Dual screen environments, GSOCs, any way, any flavor you want to do it, we can deliver it as a manufacturer, and Stone takes it to the next level. So Milestone, OnGuard, and I'll cover all three of our products from a software standpoint. So OnGuard, enterprise class software. We just released 8.3 a couple months ago. 8.4 is slated for next year. We may take a little bit of time on that, but the key there is we are constantly looking at more ways to improve the user experience, the user interface. Now, user interface is a little bit of a double-edged sword. We have OnGuard users that have been using alarm monitoring for 25 years, and they love it. They don't want it to change. It's what they know. We did a kind of an interim step and changed some of the icons, very basic stuff, and some of those diehards were like, "You moved my cheese." And interestingly enough, they like it. So we've made a conscious effort to bring them along at their speed. But we've also got 20-year-olds and 30-year-olds in this industry that love the new experience and love the new look. So we try to be focused on both. So from a standpoint of OnGuard and XProtect, right? OnGuard events into XProtect, video and events into OnGuard. So again, pick your flavor. If you look down there at the bottom right, that is actually what you're going to see in a few minutes, what Adam's going to demo. That is a screenshot from the demo system here. So we've added browser XProtect support for our browser clients, which is, as I said, alarm monitor, as well as the surveillance client, which is was geared more towards LNVR, but more and more LNVR is moving away, and we're moving most of those customers over to XProtect, so surveillance needed to be added. And then we can map custom alarms to OnGuard Monitor, and we can also have the XProtect video in OnGuard in a hot tile. And then lastly, we've pushed event-activated video from OnGuard Alarm Monitor to the XProtect client. So those are the co-engineering items that we're touching on and developing. And we want to hear from you. What works for you? What does your business need? Bring that to us. So Netbox. Once again, if you look at the screenshot there, it might look familiar to you. It's the same one from the previous slide. It's a screenshot from the demo system you're going to see from Adam. And really the key part there is to think about it's transparent. So in the world of mergers and acquisitions, you may have a Netbox customer that acquires a customer with OnGuard, right? Stone Security can take those two systems where we've already looked at how to combine them and are looking at combining and making overlays there, but Stone can bring both systems into an XProtect client, and then it becomes transparent to you. Especially the headache if you're the acquiring company and you need to make this kind of work and get one view in all your assets around the world, right? XProtect client does the trick. And then the latest. So Elements is our most recent 4 years cloud product, but it's native cloud. And we've taken it over the last 2 years with some development and more push on our part. We're taking it to new levels. And what you'll see from Elements is going to be outstanding. It's one of our favorite products, but when you look at one of the items that was missing, and Tim talked about it from a VSAS standpoint and on-prem video. It's still very much, I would say, up in the air, but between us and Milestone, we have that thought and method to bring what's best for the customer and what they want and their definition of cloud. So the first step was to bring XProtect video and events into Elements. So that was our first big step with an enterprise level product as we move Elements further up the food chain. And the great thing is you can enable it, the end user can enable it right in the Elements marketplace, which we started out with the marketplace in Elements. We're bringing that to both the OnGuard and NetBox world probably the first of the year. So it allows you as an end user to find out what's available and make a selection and enable it in your system. Wrong button. So, phones out. From a Milestone Linnell S2 integration, this is where we want to hear from you. And as a salesperson at heart, when we ask these questions, usually it's multiple choice, right? Our teams or our engineers and product managers come up with choices. So this is not easy. This is not push A, B, or C. It's written thought. So the things that you want, we've left it open-ended in this questionnaire. We want to hear from you about what you want, what's relevant to you, not what we think you need and we lead you to that answer. We want to hear what really works for you. So please take that survey if you get a chance. So I think we've kind of summed it up, right? We're not locking you in. Linnell S2 has never locked customers in. There's certain aspects of any system that is somewhat proprietary, but we've always aimed to make it as open as possible and not proprietary. And Milestone has done the same. You know, when you look at our partners, the OAP partners, over 100. Milestone's integration partners, over 100, right? We don't hold back on any of that. And we don't want to lock you in. We want to move you forward at the speed you want to move forward. So bringing it all together, this is a pretty heavy slide. But, right, as I said, number one in video, number one in access, premier open platform, and then when you look at factory certifications and the things that we offer and provide, right, it equals that. It's the most capable and flexible system, combined system in the world. There is nothing better. And for those of you that take advantage of both products and have them integrated, I'll just throw it out there, but have you ever thought that you actually have a natively redundant system in place that is fully interoperable, right? Not too many of our competitors can say that, right? Whether we look at even the open systems, it's hard to keep up with that version creep, right? Whether it's one side or the other. But with Linnell S2 and Milestone, right, you have a natively redundant product that Stone supports. So with that, I'll leave you with that thought. If you want to talk later, I'd be happy. I'll be here all day, as will Tim. So with that, I'll bring up Adam to kind of spell out for you everything I've talked about and show you it live.